Southern Virginia University for today's women's volleyball match featuring the Baldwin Fighting Squirrels and your Southern Virginia University match. The Southern Virginia University staff, thank you for your support as the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. The NCAA and USSF Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. The consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is strictly prohibited. Thank you, and please enjoy today's game. In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with the word of prayer that will be offered by Professor Jeff Bayless. Now, would you all please rise and face the flag for playing our nation's national anthem. And now, for your starting lineups. Starting from the Fighting Squirrels. At defensive specialist, senior number 1, Savannah Figueroa. At outside hitter, freshman number 2, Sydney Reyes. At outside hitter, sophomore number 4, JC McAuley. At setter, sophomore number 6, Emily Penny. At middle block, number 10, Alexis Evans. At middle block, senior number 14, Megan Andrews. And at the barrel, freshman number 12, Jaislene Tavanian. The Fighting Squirrels are coached by Jody Lloyd. Now, starting for your Knights. At middle block, senior number 2, Jelaine Peterson. And outside, junior number 4, Sydney Bassett. At center, freshman number 7, Sarah Hudson. At middle, freshman number 10, Madison Green. At defensive specialist, the sophomore number 13, Nikki Stevenson. And outside, the freshman number 25, Whitney Madeleine. And at the ball, junior number 6, Jessica Andrews.
Conference losses, the Knights lost opportunity to be more 4th in conference. Rather, now they sit currently at 5 in the USA South Conference. But coming into today's game, they face off against a Mary Baldwin team that has struggled, for lack of a better term, to pick up that first conference win on the year. They currently sit at 0-11 in conference play, 2-19 overall on the year. Again, just a similar story to a lot of programs across the country where you have a majority of underclassmen on your roster, a lot of younger players trying to figure out, and Southern Virginia was in that same boat earlier in the year. A lot of freshmen, a lot of new faces getting used to the culture of the team and figuring things out, you know, and just, again, just learning how to play together. It's just taking a little bit longer for Mary Baldwin to get to that point. So statistically speaking, looking at both the leaders and statistics for both these programs, the trajectory of the season, you could guess that it could end up being a quick night in favor of Southern Virginia, but again, being a conference matchup, it's always a coin toss.
Right, absolutely. But I think we also have to bring up the point that Mary Baldwin has never won a match against Southern Virginia University.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I think that'll be a big play in this game for motivation for both teams, because SVU wants to keep that winning streak going, and Mary Baldwin's probably coming back. Hey, we want to win. This is also their second game against each other this season, in which the first one we won 3-0, just 3 sets in a row. So it'll be interesting, but I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I do think it's going to be a pretty short game.
And you talk about the win-loss record between these two programs. Southern Virginia, like you said, has never lost to Mary Baldwin. They currently have 15 wins to 0 losses over the Fighting Squirrels in their matchup's history. Serving first for Southern Virginia tonight is number 25, Brooklyn Madlin. And that's going to be blocked out, so it'll go down as a kill for Sydney Bassett. It goes out off the hand of number 4, Jason McAuley, sophomore from Newcastle, Virginia. And that'll go down as a service ace for Madlin. Good start for Southern Virginia. And you know, we were talking before the game how last year, in the last time these teams met up, I guess the season ago before this matchup this year earlier on, they had started Celia Rios-Rolón as their setter last year. But coming into this one, although she is the leader in assists for this team, she is not starting tonight. We do not have the reason as to why. We do not know if there's any sort of injury involvement or whatnot, so we're not going to speculate. But that is one thing that's interesting because, again, all of last year, she was one of those consistents for the Fighting Squirrels. And tonight's trying to set up the pin. The set just seemed a little off. Maybe Peterson had swung it a little too late. Regardless, ties it up at 2 apiece. Now serving for the Fighting Squirrels is number 12, Jaisley Tabayan, freshman from Burke, Virginia. Stevenson. And that's going to drop on that back line for Bassett. Set was not quite where Hoofman wanted it to be, but ended up working out for the Knights regardless. And here to serve now is number 9, Taryn Anderson. And we'll see Madison Green come onto the floor for Southern Virginia. We've talked a lot about her the past couple broadcasts. She came in and is really taking control of that middle blocker position in place of Peterson or Clyde whenever they're not in. And she's really filled that role extremely well.
Absolutely, I would agree. She is probably one of the strongest. What's the word I'm looking for? Achievers. Is that the one? She's strived to be her best, I would say. And I think the coach has definitely seen it throughout these past couple games that she has started her.
Absolutely, and going back to what Coach Baker said when she first started, is that she has some really good energy, and I mentioned Celia Rios-Rolón. Here she is to serve. She just substituted in for the Fighting Squirrels. Here's Bassett again. They're going to keep targeting Bassett as long as it works, and it has worked every single time so far.
Well, Bassett is one of our MVP players. She's definitely an asset that you can't really get past her unless you target her.
Absolutely. She actually is one of the leaders in the USA South Conference in kills per set.
That honestly does not shock me.
Here's Bassett again.
She's just got fantastic control, so she can place it wherever she feels. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Bassett tried to dig that out of the net, but I believe it hit the antenna in the process, so it'll go down as a point for the Fighting Squirrels. So far, Mary Baldwin doing a great job at fighting back. Whenever Southern Virginia gets on a 1- to 2-point run, they answer right back and tie things up. And now back to serve is number 2, Sydney Reyes, freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Middle back, Madlin. Good work there from Tabayan.
Ooh, that was sneaky.
Very sneaky from Hoofman, and it works out perfectly. Hoofman is another one of those players that's really grown into the role that she has this year. 525 assists going into today's game. And you just see the confidence that has been growing every single time we've seen her step onto the floor.
I absolutely agree with you. She is one of our bigger, well, I mean, you can't really have a volleyball team without a setter because they set up all the kills. They're kind of like the funny best friend in movies, you know, like the movie.
They're a necessity.
Exactly. It wouldn't be complete without our setter.
Here's Bassett to serve. Now going as a service ace for Bassett. Knights once again pulling away by a couple of points. We'll see if they're able to continue this trend. Great placement there by Bassett. Here's Green. Great diving effort there from Tabayan, but it'll go out as a point for Southern Virginia. Tabayan's done a really good job being at the right place at the right time, reading the hits, just sometimes having to dive for it, and it's not as easily controlled. And Clyde's gonna knock it right back down. Get her first kill of the evening. We're gonna have a timeout here by Jody Lohr and Mary Baldwin as the Knights currently have a 9-4 lead here in this first set. So the Knights not quite dominating like looking at statistics anyway, of that as they should, but doing a good job of whenever Mary Baldwin is fighting back, they take back control, get a couple of good serves, get a couple of good attacks, and able to execute at a decent level.
Absolutely. I think also SVU is trying to regain their confidence because of those last 2 games that they lost.
Right.
Which I would assume was kind of unexpected on their part.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that's trying to gain their confidence back, and once they realize, oh, hey, we can do this, the game's just going to get...
It just gets easier and easier,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned unexpected. I mean, we talked about the flipped scores the last 2 matchups, or I guess rematches, if you will, where the first time Southern Virginia had beaten Meredith 3-0, swept them, and then they were swept in kind by Meredith, and so it's one of those things where you don't exactly expect it to happen. You know, I can't speak today. But at the same time, those are conference games, and when you play against these teams as often as you do in conference, there's a familiarity that starts to happen. It's the same thing in any level of sports, whether it be the NBA, NFL, or any other professional sport. If you have a team you play several times throughout the year, it comes to the point where it's a coin toss. You know, we have an injured player here on the floor. Slow to get up is number 17, Hannah Roach. There was a lot of tangling of the net there. I think multiple players had run into it, and Roach had fallen to the floor and was clearly visibly in pain. And she will make her way to the bench.
Hey, she took that like a boss.
She did. She's able to get off the floor on her own power, which is a good sign. Hopefully she is all right. And in her place will be number 9, Sabrina Burtz. And Jade, you and I were talking before the game. We were watching warm-ups. Burtz has a lot of power behind her swing.
Absolutely she does. I saw her swing and I was like, oh, well.
Watch out for her.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to be behind that.
So after the injury, we'll get back to play here.
Also amazing control. Wow.
Hensley trying to dive forward and recover that, but it'll be a point for the Fighting Squirrels. Now back to serve is number 14, Megan Andrews.
You know what I'm kind of wondering? Who the maker of the Flying Squirrels mascot was. That's what's coming to my mind. I'm like, you know, it's unexpected.
Yeah.
And it'll make you kind of giggle a little bit. You're like, oh, we're playing the Flying Squirrels. Or, oh, my friend from the college with the Flying Squirrels, you know? It's just a little humorous.
Indeed. Rios Rolón unable to set up a play for her team on that side. And one thing that's been consistent with Mary Baldwin ever since I started commentating among this conference is that they're always a team that sticks around. You know, they may not have a lot of wins in their win column some years,
right,
but they're always competitive. They always make you earn every single set. And it's one of those situations where as a team that you're trying to just get through the game and just win. It's frustrating because on paper, again, you see, oh, we have more wins than they do. This should be a walk in the park.
Right.
And Mary Baldwin definitely does not allow it to be that walk in the park.
Right. They definitely will challenge your skill set. I've noticed that in the past game that we played against them. They do challenge your skill set.
Now back to service number 6, Emily Penny. Knights struggling on that first pass right now. But it'll work out for Southern Virginia. Unconventional play ends up in a point for them.
If it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's absolutely correct. And subbing in to serve for Southern Virginia's number 13, Nikki Stevenson, sophomore from Elliott Lake, Ontario, Canada. Difficult second pass there. Results in another point for Southern Virginia. Got Peterson in the middle. He had Jason McCauley able to get her hand on it, but not before it gets past or gets into her side of the net. Make it 14-6. Here's Stevenson again. Another service ace for Southern Virginia.
Those really hard serves that go almost to the line in the back, those are probably one of the most challenging serves to receive, because if you duck, it could be out, but it's right at your sternum, so you're like, I could possibly get this. And I think that plays to Stevens' credit.
I mean, a lot of that just comes down to the idea of when you're serving, trying to make the defender second guess themselves, right? You're trying to make them think twice before they try to go for that ball, and then in that moment of hesitation, before they know it, the ball is either at them or past them.
Exactly.
There's Bassett. Another kill for Southern Virginia. You're starting to see Southern Virginia take a little bit of control. You're seeing things start to break down a little bit for the Fighting Squirrels. And a timeout by Mary Baldwin as the Knights lead 17-6 here in the first set. So we were just talking about how Mary Baldwin always sticks around, but then Southern Virginia went on a little bit of a terror there, thanks to several errors from Mary Baldwin in both serve receive, as well as trying to get that first pass side out. It just hasn't been pretty for Mary Baldwin the past couple of plays, to say the least.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned this last broadcast, is a lot of, my coaches used to say this a lot, is you wait for them to make mistakes.
Right.
And you just keep doing everything exactly like you're doing, because eventually they will make mistakes. And then you'll see this lead that we currently have, 6-17, and it just shows that.
You're absolutely right. And one of the stats I'm looking at here is hitting percentage. That is a big difference right now. Southern Virginia's hitting percentage is .571 compared to Mary Baldwin's -77. So that's a combination of, you know, Mary Baldwin not able to get clean attacks, Southern Virginia's middle blockers being in the right places to disrupt their plays, to make them second guess themselves. And it's just overall been very clean on Southern Virginia's end. We'll see Stevenson serve once again. Trying to get that far side just a little bit too far outside. We'll see a substitution for Mary Baldwin, Savannah Figueroa, senior from Disputana, Georgia. Here's Peterson. Similar result as just a few plays ago, where you saw Jason McCauley get her hands on it, but she's not pushing it back. She just kind of has her hands straight up, so it just falls right in front of her on her side of the net.
That low barn ceiling messes people up.
Figueroa with the concentration. Beautiful block. That'll probably go down statistically as a block for Sydney Bassett, even though I feel like the net got most of that. And subbing in for Southern Virginia to serve is number 24, Abby Gregory, sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. This is her first time on the floor tonight.
That was spicy. That's a great serve.
Bassett trying to keep it up out of the net, but it'll fall for the Fighting Squirrels. And we talk about Abby Gregory getting in there. It's been hit or miss whether we've seen her on the floor here at the barn in these home games. But a benefit of these games where you have a significant lead and you build on it, and the other team's starting to make mistakes, you can get your players in and get some of that experience. Peterson gets that to fall. And subbing in for Southern Virginia to serve is number 9, Taryn Anderson. And it's an interesting point. We're seeing another substitution in number 15, Claire Bailey. My point actually kind of goes to something that I was actually talking to Malachi Olson of the men's basketball program here at Southern Virginia, where this year they have several JV games for men's basketball scheduled, a chance for a lot of these younger players to get some in-game action and get some experience and get up to speed with the speed of the college level.
Absolutely. I think if you take a big picture of high school versus college, there's a huge difference.
Right.
I mean, in not only just speed of the game, but in athletics. Well, of course, athletics, but like the athleticism of the players. Oh my goodness, everything that I just had in my mind just went whoosh.
Well, I mean, you have a great point. I mean, athleticism, intelligence,
coordination.
Yeah, exactly. Execution level. I mean, all those things. All those. It's like in high school, if you're playing the sport of volleyball, it's more up in the air whether or not someone can serve consistently over the net and serve it in a place where it needs to be. Whereas in college, you can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be pretty accurate most of the time. And that goes down as a kill for Claire Bailey, the freshman from Layton, Utah. Got another substitution for the Knights in number 1, Abby Anderson, freshman from South Jordan, Utah. And we'll see Sarah Hoofman behind the line. Green and Bailey able to get their hands on that one. Tipped and goes out, but in good position was Abby Anderson. We'll see a substitution for the Fighting Squirrels on number 17, Hannah Roach. She's back in the game. She's the one that had the fall earlier and had to make her way off the floor. Glad to see that she is okay.
Had our athletic trainer take a look at her.
That one sails out from number 8, Brooklyn Prince. Point for Southern Virginia. And we'll see Claire Bailey have her first serve of the night. Got another substitution for the Fighting Squirrels, number 5, Christina Sloan, sophomore from Warrenton, Virginia.
Wait, is it the Fighting Squirrels? I thought it was the Flying Squirrels.
It's a very common mistake.
Oh, wow. That's embarrassing, because I went on a whole rant about that earlier.
Oh, trust me, I've made enough mistakes, and I've been told many times to make sure to correct that.
Whoops.
Tipped up by Green. Great dig there from Tabayan. Anderson. The inaccurate pass there results in a point for Southern Virginia. Knights now 2 points away from first set victory. Here's Claire Bailey once again.
Oh, nice. Oh, no.
Jessica Ensley was right there, but the ball changed trajectory and she tried to adjust. But the result is a point for the Fighting Squirrels. Now number 14, Megan Andrews back to serve, the senior from King George, Virginia. That serve just short. Set point for Southern Virginia. We'll see senior Jelaine Peterson make her way back onto the floor. Great serve from Ensley. Service ace, no finer way to end this first set. That is now 4 service aces for Southern Virginia already. And so very similar to the first time around this season, the Knights take the first set by a score of 25-11.
Yes. Fist bump.
And again, a lot of that comes down to the efficiency of Southern Virginia's attack, hitting percentage of 500, 11 assists. They had very few attack errors, only 2 attack errors out of 22 total attacks. Mary Baldwin had 24 total attacks. It's just they weren't really able to get anything going. A 42 hitting percentage, 5 attack errors, and then you also had Southern Virginia with 4 service aces. That definitely doesn't help your cause either. I just think overall Southern Virginia has operated on a higher level so far. Again, a lot more game to be played, a lot more volleyball to be played in the next 2 sets at the very least. But right now, Southern Virginia just clicking.
They're kind of just showing us what the statistics say.
Right.
Yeah. My brain is just not working. I apologize.
You're totally fine. But real quick, we want to take a quick moment to give a shout out to those who have partnered with Knights Athletics. A lot of these local businesses, including Cornerstone Bank, Mill Creek Orthodontics, River Crossing Apartments, Straws Drinks and Eats, Grace Automotive, where SVU students and staff can receive 10% off their vehicle maintenance needs. Papa John's Pizza, locally owned and operated. Vinyl Cuts, The Beef, Sweet Souvenirs, and Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express. If you would like to partner with Knights Athletics to promote your business to the Knight Nation, please contact Brett Schroeder at 801-633-1894. That's 801-633-1894. And speaking of Straws Drinks and Eats, this Friday, October 20th, the band Fought Gut is performing live at Straws. That should be very, very exciting. Every now and then they have live music, other different live events. They have different vendors that go there, I think, every Wednesday and Thursday. Great place to go. I always love to single out and shout out Straws. I have good friends there. And, of course, Katana Sushi, go there all the time. A lot of great businesses. And once again, all those that I just listed, thank you for partnering with Southern Virginia Athletics. We appreciate you. But again, like you said, Jade, is that we went into this game, we looked at the statistics, win-loss records, player statistics. It tells one story, and early on, Mary Baldwin was making things close and interesting. But as the set went on, I think that Southern Virginia just kept up that high level of play for longer, which is interesting because early on in the season, the main word that Coach Baker was trying to drive into her young players was the word consistency. And tonight, so far, they have been the most consistent team on the floor.
Absolutely. I think you're completely right. And I think that goes back to how we were talking about them just gaining their confidence back from those past 2 losses.
And that's a big thing, too. Again, those 2 losses were on the road. And when you come back to your home stadium in front of your home fans, in front of classmates in many situations here, people that you see every single day, there's a familiarity. And then, you practice here every single day. And it's literally coming home. And so you get more comfortable, you get more relaxed, you're able to have a little bit more fun.
Right.
And again, kind of break yourself out of that mental funk that you can sometimes have on away trips and games. And so starting off this second set to serve as number 1, Savannah Figueroa. More trickery from Hoofman. They're going to call a double on Mary Baldwin. Point Southern Virginia. And taking the floor for the first time tonight is freshman number 8, Ruby Blameyers.
I have not seen a lot of her this season.
We've seen her maybe 1 or 2 times here at Knight Arena.
Okay, so I'm not just forgetting things. Oh, wow.
Solid serve from Blameyers. Here's Bassett.
What?
Reminding people who she is.
Okay, we get it, Sydney. You're like really good at volleyball. Gosh.
I still go back to her kill late in their last home contest that they had here against Methodist University.
Yep. I remember that.
That serve dropping right in the back corner. And for those who watched the last home broadcast of Southern Virginia women's volleyball, you know exactly what we're referring to. You could hear the boom of that hit from out in Main Hall here on campus. It was so emphatic.
I think they might have checked for a dent in the floor after that one came down. And I wouldn't blame them.
Here's Green. Knights, again, as I said before, they're operating and running on all cylinders right now. It's looking very pretty for them and very, very smooth.
Right, absolutely. I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a short game.
Unless Mary Baldwin is able to make some corrections. I believe they're going to say that, indeed, Madison Green, she had gotten into the net a little bit there, so it gives the Fighting Squirrels their first points of the second set. And again, I go back to the fact that I mentioned earlier in the first set, how the Fighting Squirrels are one of those teams where maybe they don't have a lot of high numbers in their win column some years, and some years they do a little bit better, but they're always a team that has tenacity to them. They don't just go away.
Absolutely.
Another kill for Sydney Bassett. Come back onto the floor is number 3, Brenna Clyde for Southern Virginia. The Knights now a 5-1 lead in the second set with Sarah Hoofman back to serve.
I believe I just heard our team on the sidelines chant, "You can't block her." And I think that was spot on. That was very accurate.
I mean, there are very few people that can block the powerful hits.
Absolutely.
That goes down as a block for Madison Green. Another point for Southern Virginia. Again, I refer back to that one hit, the hit from Sydney Bassett in the previous home game.
That's just what it's referred to as now, the hit.
I mean,
everybody knows what we're talking about.
It's one of those where even me, like, I'm a bigger guy, and I'd like to think that I'm tough. But even I wouldn't want to stand in front of that hit or try to block it. It just would not be something that I'd ever want to do.
I think that could definitely break someone's arms if they actually tried to receive that hit. It would break mine, that's for sure. Or at least maybe like a laceration type thing.
Serving that time is Salil Rios Rolón, a junior from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Hoofman to Clyde. She has to lean back for that hit and therefore gets underneath it too much. She had already started her approach on the set and had to stop herself short.
It just got so loud. I looked down at the roster for like 2 seconds, and then it got like incredibly loud. I'm like, what did I miss?
Here's Green. Another kill for Green. So Bassett back to serve now. Bassett already sitting with 1 service ace. Another block for Green.
I saw that one coming. She set her up. She went for it, got blocked, and then set her up again for the exact same one. And I was like, okay.
See, that first pass had gone really close to the net, and you saw number 14, Megan Andrews, going for it. Green was right there. She tipped it, and then you saw Andrews going for it again. And I mean,
Green was like, no.
Yeah, she was still right there. She knew exactly where it was going.
That's not going to happen. Not on my watch.
There's Madeline. We haven't seen a whole lot of her today, but then again, they haven't necessarily needed her to do much as Bassett's really taking control, but that hit goes out of bounds. Madeline came into today's game with 162 kills on the year, second on the team. Oh, excuse me, third on the team, behind Sydney Bassett and Brenna Clyde. Here's Clyde. Speaking of which,
she's one of the other people who.
Speak of Brenna and she shall appear.
She's just like, there's a movie that I'm referencing where there's an object. I don't remember what it is, and it, like, if you say it, it appears.
Oh.
Wait, well, oh no, it's from Harry Potter. It's the sword that, like, if you need it most, it'll just appear. Like when it appeared at, like, the bottom of that one lake.
It's official. It's official. Brenna Clyde is the sword of Gryffindor. That is what she is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Mean if
let's
she's
see if she
there.
proves that nickname. We'll have to ask her about that. But indeed, coming in clutch there with that hit. Fantastic work. She has 3 kills so far on the night as the Knights lead 10-3 in the second set. Again, things just working out very well for them right now. And Mary Baldwin at points just kind of left scrambling a little bit and fighting just to keep a play alive. And again, we'll probably see in the next couple of points, if things continue this trend for Southern Virginia, we'll probably see some more younger players come in, get some more playing time for the Knights, and try to set up those different plays, get them some experience. Again, I use that word a lot in these situations, but that's a key thing. When you're introducing freshmen to the college level of play, getting experience is huge.
I was not paying attention. I was vibing to the song.
Good atmosphere here in the barn.
That'd be sweet.
And we'll get back to play here in the barn. Bassett back to serve once again.
It's a good thing they don't play music during plays, or you would just hear nothing from me. I'd just be dancing to the songs the whole time.
Diving effort there from Rolone.
Whoa.
Awkward angle from Madison Green, trying to dig it out of the net, but it falls as a point for the Fighting Squirrels.
Number 8, Brooklyn Prince, was set up so well
Indeed.
for that hit. I was just noticing. I was like, wow, that was pretty.
All from the diving effort of number 3, Salute Rios Rolone. I mean, she dove, got it up, and like you said, in perfect position, perfect pass.
She really got that height on it.
Number 11, Delaney Bullock, Bulbuck, excuse me. Flying in for the hit was Madison Green, but that sails out.
We've said it before, we'll say it again. Our athletic trainers are just too good. Our girls are just too strong.
Too much time on the upper body strength.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Hoofman to Madeline.
Boom.
Good dig there from Bulbuck.
Sydney Bassett is just flying all over the floor. Like, you wouldn't guess she's an outside hitter. Like, by the way she plays, she is so versatile. Is that the right word? Yeah.
That is absolutely correct, and that one falls for Madeline. And you know, you mention it. You talk about her versatility as a player. Bassett again leading the team in kills with 251 going into today's game. Then you have 204 digs going to this game. Again, being able to hit from the outside, able to play solid defense. I mean, what else can you really ask for?
She's just the volleyball dream.
And she came into this game with 34 service aces on the year as well.
No, I got it. I got it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Where is her name? Okay. Okay. Are you ready? Brenna Clyde, sort of Gryffindor. And then Sydney Bassett is like the volleyball Barbie. You know?
Yeah, I guess that works. They're going to call over the net by the Fighting Squirrels, point for Southern Virginia. I mean, Sydney is blonde.
Exactly.
There you go.
There you go.
Again, we'll consult their PR departments.
We'll look at their managers. We'll see.
Get those trademarked. That nearly got over. I saw the topspin on that, and it was going to drop right in that 10-foot area. If it just had a little bit more air underneath it, it would have been beautiful. Now back to service number 14, Megan Andrews. Here's Madeline.
Oh, that was tricky. That was a good one.
The net plays in her favor. We'll see Stevenson come onto the floor for Southern Virginia to serve. The Knights now with an 8-point lead in the second set. Tipped up by Hoofman. And it fell right in the area before anyone could get there.
I have Sweet Escape stuck in my brain. It's going to be there the entire rest of the day.
It's a catchy one. We got some substitutions for the Fighting Squirrels, and number 10, Alexis Edmonds, and number 6, Emily Penny. Bassett back row. Longest rally of the night so far.
I was about to say, this is a nice rally.
Peterson gets the kill there to end it, getting her 4th of the evening.
Now serving number 25.
And, you know, we talk about Bassett, of course, having a great night so far with 6 kills to herself, but you also have Peterson, who just got her 4th, Madison Green with 3, Brenna Clyde with 3, and a service ace there for Madeline. So my main point is that a lot of players are getting in on the action tonight. Which
I can't make up that many nicknames, dude. It took me like 5 minutes to come up with Volleyball Barbie. Jeez. Check back with me next game, and I'll probably have some ready. I got you.
I'll be sure to quiz you next time, and I'll be expecting a long list.
I will. I'll just go down the roster and just make nicknames for him.
Madeline back to serve once again. The Knights up by 10. Awkward second pass situation there.
I heard her skin scrape on the floor. But,
Emily Penny had to turn around and try to pass it back in bounds. That's just an awkward pass in general. So the Knights now up by 11 points here, 18-7 in the second set in this USA South Conference rematch. Again, like I mentioned before, so far things going pretty similarly to how they did the first time around earlier this year. And again, Knights looking for their 10th win on the year, trying to build themselves up in conference play. Currently sitting at 5th in the conference, just behind Meredith College, who the Knights, Methodist University.
I was like, Meredith.
Methodist, I corrected myself there. And the Knights had beaten Methodist in 5 sets and had a fantastic outing. And they had built it to where they would have the 4th spot. Then with those back-to-back losses, went back down to 5th. And, of course, you have Mary Baldwin all the way there at the bottom, sitting at 0-11 in conference play. So, really, kind of like what you said earlier, Jade, is that the Knights were in perfect position here at home against an opponent that statistically you should be able to handle, to get back some confidence, get back into the conversation conference-wise, and continue on through the rest of the year, build yourself up in conference standings for conference tournament time. And the Knights will have a substitution in number 24, Abby Gregory, and she will serve. Hoofman trying to go up and throw it down, but sails out. You could see the excitement on her face as that was coming towards her. And taking the floor tonight for the first time for Southern Virginia is number 5, Daisy Oviedo. I want to make sure I said that correctly. Sophomore from North Chesterfield, Virginia. And we'll have number 1, Savannah Figueroa, back to serve. A little discussion happening about the substitutions here with the down ref. I think they're just trying to make sure everything's squared away. Maybe they didn't quite see a substitution happen. Down ref is saying that one of the players had come late to substitute and just kind of confused everyone. But it looks like everything, I think everything's good to go now.
I'm confused. Oh, what?
Everything's good. They were just making sure they're getting the substitutions right.
Okay.
And Peterson, after a little bit of delay, he says, you know what, I'm tired of waiting. Give me a kill.
Like I gotta warm my arm back up, come on.
Gives her 5th kill of the night. Coming back onto the floor this time to serve is number 8, Ruby Blaemeyers. Here's Bassett. Another kill for Bassett. That's number 7. I feel like if the Knights really wanted to, they could have Bassett at 10 kills for herself at this point already, if not more. But like I said before, they're doing a good job of spreading it out.
Spreading the love.
And diversifying their attack. They're going to say that, I believe we're going to say that Green was in the net once again. That's the second time that's happened today. And we'll see Ensley come back on the floor with number 12, Jaisley Tobayan, back to serve for the Fighting Squirrels. Knights lead by 11. Another kill for Bassett. And I failed to mention the substitution of number 9, Taryn Anderson. She is now in there at setter in place of Sarah Hoofman, or at least she was, and we'll see Hoofman come back onto the floor.
And here comes Gryffindor's sword.
Brenna Clyde taking the floor once again. The Knights 4 points away from closing out the second set.
You can tell that Mary Baldwin is kind of getting a little bit tired, maybe both emotionally and physically, trying to stop these. Because, dude, I would be physically tired trying to stop a single one of either Brenna Clyde's or Sydney Bassett's hits. So I don't blame them.
And you know what, at some point when you're trying to come from behind all the time, and because the Knights have consistently had the lead for the vast majority of the time, and that in and of itself can be mentally draining on anyone when you're constantly in catch-up mode and not just simply having to execute your offense.
Right. I think that's probably one of the hardest aspects of sports is keeping your head up even when you're losing. It's just mentally draining.
There's a certain mental toughness that has to come along with that. And Clyde, Gryffindor sword, used once again. You know, there's those tests online to see which Hogwarts house you want to be a part of. I would laugh if we found out that Brenna Clyde, because those tests would be put in Gryffindor. That'd be just too perfect.
Well, that'll be my overtime this week. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go make Brenna Clyde take a house test just to confirm our allegations. I think honestly, if we were just talking about her straight up personality, she'd be Hufflepuff.
That's fair.
She's always smiling. I don't think I've ever seen Brenna Clyde not smiling.
That's a very good point. That, again, we talk about the energy she brings on the floor all the time when she's subbed in or when she's gone off the floor or any situation, really. Always smiling, always got a good attitude about her.
Absolutely.
And for the Fighting Squirrels, we'll see number 11, Delaney Bolbach, serving. More trickery from Hoofman. She sees that open space and she attacks it. Set point for Southern Virginia. And making her way to the floor for the first time tonight is number 26, Kaylee Hanna, freshman from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
Coach Debbie is really showing the assets of her entire team tonight. She's pulling some people who we haven't seen or haven't seen in a while out from the bench and letting them really show what they're like in the game, because you can't necessarily tell how a person plays just based on practice.
Right, and all these different people that come in here, either watching on the broadcast or watching the arena, they don't see the practices. They don't see the work that these players put in every single day to get better and better. Beautiful block there that time by number 5, Christina Sloan, sophomore from Warrenton, Virginia. Actually, excuse me, that was number 8, Brooklyn Prince. The absolute textbook block. Now number 14, Megan Andrews back to serve. Anyway, go back to the aspect of, substitutions. Again, we talk about the necessity of getting young players that playing time, and Clyde able to get her 5th kill of the night, and that closes out the second set by a score of 25-13. Knights just one more set away from a sweep of their USA South Conference opponent. And, another thing too is, and we talk about the young roster of Southern Virginia, getting them that experience, getting them that opportunity, and also you see every time a new player is subbed in, you see the smiles in the other players' faces, seeing their teammate take the floor here in their home arena for the first time this year, and that's always a fun thing to see too, because again, that builds camaraderie, that builds a sort of chemistry, like, hey, they're excited for each other, and that's a great thing to see. And real quick in this break, I want to once again give a shout out to our athletic partners, a lot of these local businesses, including Cornerstone Bank, Mill Creek Orthodontics, River Crossing Apartments, Straws Drinks and Eats, Grace Automotive, where SVU students and staff can receive 10% off their vehicle maintenance needs, Papa John's Pizza, a locally owned and operated, and Vinyl Cuts, The Beef, Sweet Souvenirs, Katana Sushi, and Hibachi Express as well. And once again, if you would like to partner with Knights Athletics to promote your business to the Knight Nation, please contact Brett Schroeder at 801-633-1894. That's 801-633-1894. We appreciate all those who support Knights Athletics. And also, you're watching this on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. So, you know how YouTube works. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below. What are some of your favorite highlights of the game so far? And be sure to let us know what ways we can improve here on Knights Broadcasting as well. We appreciate your support of Knights Broadcasting. So once again, the Knights having a 2-0 lead over the Fighting Squirrels and Mary Baldwin. The Knights just operating on all levels, really able to get a lot of different players in there. And the most impressive thing to me is that a lot of times when you see young players substituted into a game where you're winning pretty well, you kind of see normally you see a backtracking quality of play. That hasn't necessarily happened tonight. When younger players have gotten in, they've been able to make plays, and it's still been very consistent, which is absolutely fantastic to see.
I completely agree. I think Coach Baker has done a fantastic job, and so has the Mary Baldwin coach. But, like, more importantly, I guess, wow, that was rude. Not more importantly, I think just because we're the SVU broadcast, we got to, kind of hype up our team. I think it shows how great our coaching staff is for our girls this year. Or, well, I guess they've been the coach for the past,
6 years.
6 years.
It's just a continuation of great quality. And again, I go back to how excited these players are for a lot of these freshmen to take the floor for the first time tonight, and some of them for the first time in the season. They see them come in, they get all excited, they're hyping them up. And that's when you know you've built up good chemistry and good camaraderie in your players, as both a coach and as a teammate. You know you have a good thing going when that is the case, when you're excited for each other, when you're playing for one another. And we've seen a lot of that so far tonight. You also see that even though they've won the first 2 sets and they could easily just kind of be in sort of a coasting mode, there's still that energy there, that excitement. On the floor right now for Southern Virginia is Madison Green, Brenna Clyde, Sydney Bassett, Brooklyn Madlin, Jessica Inslee, and Sarah Hoofman. Then for the Fighting Squirrels, you have Alexis Edmonds, Delaney Bolbach, Emily Penny. You also have number 13, Sierra Krett, and Savannah Figueroa.
See that left-handed hit just now?
That was impressive. But first point of the set will go to the Fighting Squirrels, and back to serve is number 12, Jaisley Tabayan. Here's Bassett. Great dig there from Tabayan.
That was fantastic.
Bassett again. Diving effort that time from Figueroa. That one sails out off the hand of Alexis Edmonds, junior from Stafford, Virginia. Edmonds actually leads the Fighting Squirrels in kills so far tonight with 5.
Ooh, that was a nice little tip.
Good hustle there from Edmonds to get there in time. Here's Clyde. Tabayan once again in the right place at the right time. That hit a little bit low from Edmonds. Another point for Southern Virginia. Back to serve now is Sydney Bassett. Bassett had one service ace in the first set. Here's Clyde. Just a little short. Ties it back up at 2 apiece. We'll see some substitutions for Mary Baldwin, including Salil Rios-Rolón and Sabrina Burtz. Rolón will serve. Figueroa trying to hit from the back row, falls just a little bit short. Peterson for Southern Virginia will make her way back into the floor with Jessica Ensley back to serve. Driving effort there from Figueroa was very close. That may well have been just out, but it was one of those where it's too close for you to just simply watch it go by. So service ace for Ensley. That gives her her second of the day. Back-to-back service aces for Ensley. Another strong serve. They're going to say that was in. That was very close in that back corner. So that goes down as a kill for number 9, Sabrina Burtz. Sydney Bassett could not believe that that was called in.
I think the entire SVU student section couldn't believe it either. Everyone went boo.
Serve that time from Bolbach. Here's Madeline. That one sails for Madeline. And even if it wasn't in, I feel like I heard a nicking sound from the ball. So I think someone had tipped it.
I think you're absolutely right. I think you're right.
Here's Clyde. Madeline.
Hey-yo.
Madeline again. Peterson right there for the block on the Megan Andrews hit. Some substitutions for the Knights, including Taryn Anderson, and once again taking the floor, Daisy Oviedo. Oviedo. That goes down as a block, I believe, for number 17, Hannah Roach. Right next to her was Megan Andrews, but I believe Roach got the largest portion of it. We'll see subbing in for the Fighting Squirrels, number 13, Sierra Crett, freshman from Palmyra, Virginia. Here's Madeline. Madeline, great hesitation up at the top there, just getting it past the wall of defenders. Like we mentioned, now Madeline's kind of had a quiet night. Off the side of Bolbach's hand. Another point for Southern Virginia. Great dig from Ensley. Here's Bassett.
Too strong.
I mean, Craig got her hands on it, that's for sure.
That is true. You didn't see that. Yep, exactly.
Just didn't quite get her hands face downward in time.
Just gone. Just went flying out.
Great work there to get it over. That one off the side of Peterson's hand. Brings it back within 3. So it's been a much closer third set so far than the previous 2. And back to service number 6, Emily Penny. Which again, it doesn't really surprise me. This is very similar to last year when Mary Baldwin played here. Of course, that short serve from Penny. A year ago, a similar situation where the Knights, they won 3-0, but third set, especially, Mary Baldwin was just very, very competitive.
Back and forth.
Back and forth, and again, when you win the first 2 sets, it's very easy to kind of get the mentality of, oh, we can just kind of relax now and coast the rest of the way. We've done most of the work, and when you play against scrappy teams like Mary Baldwin, it's not necessarily going to go over well for you.
Right, absolutely.
Bassett gets in between Krett and Edmonds somehow.
That was, wow, that was sneaky.
When you talk about splitting defenders, that's about as accurate as that gets for that play.
Yep.
Here's Edmonds, left hand. Gets it to fall for the Fighting Squirrels. We'll see Ensley go back on the floor. With Figueroa back to serve.
Oh!
What a block for Edmonds. That's got to be the play of the game for the Fighting Squirrels.
What?
My goodness.
That was, that, they had no chance. The power behind that hit, and then that block.
I don't even know if I'd call it a boom boom play. That's just a boom.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one noise.
And then Bassett comes right back with a kill of her own. Now back to serve for the Knights is Sarah Hoopman. And you see another example right there of, Fighting Squirrels make a really good play, and the Knights respond right back. It's kind of the story of whenever the Fighting Squirrels present a fight, the Knights are like, let's shut that down right now. And Bassett helps Madison Green get a little bit of revenge. Hoofman back to serve again. Here's Green. Gets it past Edmonds. That was clean. Timeout called from Mary Baldwin as they trail by 6, 14-8 here in the third and potentially final set.
I'm sorry. The chant that the team just did after she got that hit, they go, she's a minor. What?
Oh my goodness. The chance that you hear at a volleyball game, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a little out of pocket. It kind of just took me by surprise. So if you just heard a random laugh, that is why.
Oh my goodness. Again, the energy here is always great. And then again, you're seeing the Knights have fun there on the sidelines. They're enjoying this. It's only a 6-point margin, so not necessarily a blowout in this third set like maybe they would want to have or maybe you'd expect. But there's a positivity, there's an energy on the floor right now that, again, we talked about the past couple of games. Southern Virginia had suffered tough losses. And so you got to know that's refreshing to feel that positivity
Right.
and that excitement in a game like this. We'll see Hoofman back to serve once again. Figueroa trying to get that first pass. And the ball ends up coming to us.
Put me in, coach. I can do it.
Knights now up by 7. Another service ace for Hoofman. That is her third. I guess she just had back-to-back service aces. Gives her second and her third.
Fourth question mark?
Indeed.
Nice.
Hoofman's on a roll right now. Lead is now stretched to 9. The Fighting Squirrels still not able to break out of it. Another service ace. Lead now stretched to 10. Beautiful float serve. And the block from Green and Clyde. And we'll see a first-time substitution tonight for Southern Virginia, number 17, Madison Tukuafu, freshman from Brandon, Florida. Another service ace for Hoofman.
She's just on a roll, dude.
And you see Figueroa there on Mary Baldwin's side. She's getting a bit frustrated. Understandably so, with Hoofman's fantastic serves. Another point for Southern Virginia.
Does that count as a service ace?
I'll check back with you.
Okay. I think so, because it didn't technically come back to SVU. Right?
Yeah, you're correct. And so we'll see some more substitutions, including Abby Anderson and Claire Bailey coming onto the floor another time tonight. Another service ace for Hoofman.
She's just too good. You just can't stop her.
Another substitution for Southern Virginia, number 26, Kaylee Hanna. She'll come in from Madison Green. So now, aside from Sarah Hoofman and Jessica Ensley, it's mostly substitutions. And that scraped the ceiling, and when it scrapes the ceiling on the way back over, that counts as out of bounds. Another point for Southern Virginia, make it 23-8. What a hit. Hoofman to Bailey. For the first time, what feels, yeah, for the first time before it feels like in forever, we have a good rally here. That time, Tukuafu not able to get that hit. And finally, a point for the Fighting Squirrels. You could tell they were very frustrated during that stretch that Sarah Hoofman was serving. Felt like she had been behind that back line for ages.
She had what? Seven serves in a row. No serve serves. Something like that? I think it was. Wait, hold on. Now I gotta go back and count it.
They're gonna call over the net here for, trying to see who they're calling it on, because Hoofman had set it back over. Hoofman, here's Bailey. Good block there for Edmonds. So you're seeing a little bit more fight here from Mary Baldwin. Hoofman to Bailey again. That one sails out. see Tobian back to serve once again. Good diving effort there from Sloan. Tukuafu having to hit across her body for that one. Back row. Anderson. Another good rally here. Off the hand of Bailey. She went up in time, but Edmonds will get the kill. Bailey keeps it alive.
Hello.
Runs into the announcer's table here.
Did you wake? Yeah, I'm there. Hello.
Things get a little bit more exciting. Whereas there for a while, it just seemed like the Knights would run away from it in the third set. Beautiful block there for Andrews.
This is hard to watch. This is. My teeth are clenched right now. That's why I'm not talking very much.
This is very intense, and we'll see Sydney Bassett return to the floor. I think the thought process is to let her close it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Coach is thinking enough of this patty cake. Let's just.
And they indeed go right to her, but it sails out.
She's got to rewarm her arm.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
She has been on the bench for several plays now. That one sails out off the hand of Tukuafu. The Knights, for the past several plays, have struggled with that first pass. It's been really difficult for them to really get anything going. And now, as we saw moments ago, Sarah Hoofman behind the service line for a while. Same thing with Tobian until that service error. Now it's set point for Southern Virginia.
All right, Sydney, I believe in you. She can't hear me, but you guys can hear me, so, you know.
Bassett hoping to put this game away. And that goes down as a kill. Closing it out as Kaylee Hanna, the freshman from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, closing out the sweep against the Fighting Squirrels of Mary Baldwin. Another conference win in the books for Southern Virginia. They get their 10th overall win of the year.
And their 16th overall win against Mary Baldwin, correct?
Indeed, 16-0 now in this matchup of these two programs. The Knights move on to a 7-5 conference record. And depending on what happens in the conference, we'll maybe see a shake-up in the conference standings, maybe not too drastic, but again, you have Methodist just ahead of Southern Virginia, and then Greensboro just ahead of Methodist. So who knows, by tomorrow or the next day, we could see Southern Virginia move up to 4th, or maybe they'll stay at 5th. We'll just have to wait and see how all those other games pan out.
Fingers crossed.
Indeed, absolutely. So once again, the Knights take away a victory here, 3-0 over the Fighting Squirrels of Mary Baldwin. First set was 25-11, second set 25-13, third set 25-17. And again, we talked about the fact that Southern Virginia needed to get back to their winning ways, recover from a 2-game losing streak, and at the same time, able to get a lot of young players in there as well, get that much needed experience.
Absolutely, I 100% agree.
And with that, we want to once again thank you all for tuning into this presentation of Southern Virginia Athletics here on Knights Broadcasting. And you know how YouTube works. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below your highlight of the game. And also be sure to comment down below. Let us know ways we can improve this presentation of Southern Virginia Athletics. We appreciate your honest feedback. We love to improve this presentation for you, the viewing audience. And once again, I'm Dawson Weeder, joined by Jade Siemens. And again, thanks for tuning in. Good night, so long, and go Knights.